It's the Mimo Arbalist here, coming to you from somewhere near the middle of Missouri. This video documents my second hunt in the 2025 archery crossbow season. It also addresses the question, is September too early for deer hunting somewhere near the middle of Missouri? My first hunting trip this year was on opening day, September 15th and September 16th. At that time, the overnight lows were in the high 60s to low 70s, and the daytime highs were in the high 80s to mid 90s. That was rough. This trip took place on September 25th and 26th, and what a difference 10 days can make. Now we had overnight lows in the high 50s to low 60s, and daytime highs in the mid 70s to mid 80s. Not ideal, but certainly much better. Well, it's Thursday, September 25th, here in the middle of Missouri. I am the Mebo Arbalist, and it's a pleasant morning, a little bit rainy overnight, a little bit wet, a little bit damp. But let's see what we can do today. And here's my setup from my tree stand, a 15-foot platform elevated. Looking to my left goes downhill into a swampy area where I think the deer tend to bed. And then panning around from my left to my right, you can see over here, I've got my mock scrape set up with a licking branch at about 25, 27 yards. And panning some more towards my right, you'll see that it's fairly wide open, but then it gets into a very wide open field kind of a situation way off to my right. But we're not going to be shooting into that field. Early morning hunts, watching the sun come up and the woods come alive. A lot of guys I know call this tree stand therapy, and I know why. Of course, on these early morning hunts, it's about 7 o'clock in the morning right now. I usually don't eat breakfast before the hunt. I'll eat a big old farmer's breakfast when I get home about 10 o'clock. But you gotta do something to keep the tummy from rumbling sometimes. No little Debbie's here. Just the last of the 2024 deer jerky. At about quarter after 7 or so, we started to get some squirrel activity in the area. Now this bold rascal came right up to take a good look at me. He eventually climbed up and jumped from his tree into the tree I was sitting in about 10 feet over my head. For a second I was worried he was going to come down and try to steal my jerky from me or something. At about 10 minutes to 8, I started seeing some deer activity in the area. I first saw this doe running down the field with a couple of other does, and they ran into that wooded area on the other side of the field, a distance of about 100 yards away from me. No, it wasn't too long after that when I heard the worst sound in the world that no deer hunter ever wants to hear when they're out in the woods. From directly behind me. Slowly turned and looked, and directly behind the tree I was sitting in, at about 10 yards, there was a beautiful doe staring straight at me. Of course, I froze. We locked eyes, and she gently turned around and bounded away without even ever looking over her shoulder at me. What's next? I thought to myself. Am I going to see something like this? The morning hunt concluded uneventfully And Thursday afternoon found me sitting in my camouflage see-through pop-up ground blind near an open field in my secondary location. Well, it's the Mimo Arbalist here. It's Thursday, September 25th in the afternoon. It's about 5 o'clock right now. So mornings are in the tree stand, afternoons in the ground blind. See if we can't do any good over in this location. And here's a view out of my ground blind. It's more of an open park-like setting. There's Mimo the Third, my 10-point Venom X, all set and ready to go. "12 hours later." Well, it's Friday, September 26th, and it is a foggy morning out here. A little bit overcast. Maybe the deer will be moving pretty good this morning. Saw some good movement yesterday morning, but they were all too far away. So here we are, Friday, September 26th, the Mimo Arbalist hunting somewhere near the middle of Missouri. Well, I figured the deer would be moving somewhere around 8 o'clock, just as they had the previous morning. At about 7:30, however, off to my right, sort of in that direction I don't want to shoot, I saw a doe walking up towards me, feeding as she went, completely unaware of my presence. And then I made the quintessential rookie mistake. As I was slowly trying to bring my crossbow around in the right direction, I had forgotten to silence my cell phone. Right when the doe got to be about 12 yards out, in my pocket, the alarm sounded. She looked straight up at me, didn't spook, but locked eyes on me. I froze. She took 2 steps backwards and bounded off across that open park area to where I'd seen the does the previous morning. Somewhere near the middle of Missouri, there was one very unhappy arbalist. I was paying my tuition. I slowly took my cell phone out of my pocket, silenced all the alarms, returned it to my pocket, and went back into stealth mode. Have you ever heard of the saying that it's better to be lucky than to be good? Well, would you believe me if I told you that a mere approximately 28 minutes later, this happened? Now, just what did happen after the shot, after I got down out of my tree stand? Well, I'm going to take that subject up in my next video, which is going to be a video about the shot analysis of that deer. But for now, let's just leave it like this. It turned out to be a pretty good ending after all. I am the Mimo Arbalist, wishing you safety and success.